Did you think that One Piece would introduce the theme of slavery?
I wasn't expecting it to be introduced in the way that it was. I quite literally had to put it down because I wasn't expecting it to just hit me in the face so openly. People were saying like, "Hey, it gets dark," and I'm like, I've read dark. I'm prepared. We've gone through so much, and it very clearly we turn the lamp off. It's really disturbing, and it's disturbing because it's real, and they're real issues. This is, we like to, hey, we're with pirates on a fun pirating adventure, but it covers the evils and realities that comes with being in a world like this. And ironically, having it so close to the Navy headquarters, and it's like, this is where we see it. It's really made my stomach turn. Just the introduction of it. We were floating on the bubble bikes, like buying souvenirs.
Right.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah, okay, literally at the music park. Exactly.
Yeah, like we get it here. It's like, oh, all right, get your cotton candy with the side of, oh, avert your eyes.
Right. But I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people in the fandom that still do not forgive Usopp for what happened in Water 7. And I know, as you have dubbed yourself, you are an Usopp defender. What would you say to that part of the fandom in his defense?
Well, if Luffy can forgive him, so can you. So if Luffy has this guy on his crew and you're still holding beef, then you're not a real straw hat, and you need to let it go.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Straw Hat Podcast, and we are here for part 2 of the conversation with Cheddars. She has been zooming through One Piece and has had a lot of interesting takes, and a lot of people have asked in my Discord, in the comments of the first video, Instagram messaging, hey, we want you to talk to Cheddars again. It was a great time and a great vibe the first time. So here we are, and I'm excited. Thank you again, Cheddars, for taking the time to even sit down and have this conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be back. Gosh, it's crazy how much Oda manages to pack into the few arcs that it's been since the last time. So I'm excited.
Yes.
There's a lot to discuss and go over for sure.
You know what's crazy? So it's gonna be a good conversation. It's only been a few arcs, surprisingly, because the last time we talked, it was right before you got to Water 7.
God,
so yeah, it's there's so much.
Water 7 feels like forever ago, and I'm like, I'm tired. And even in canon, it's been like, a couple months through the whole thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. This story is wild.
Wild. So I do want to ask, now that you're kind of deeper into the fandom, right? Because I know you were still pretty new then. Yes. How has everyone treated you on the platforms, comment sections, One Piece fans in general? How has that been?
Overall, it's still been overwhelmingly positive. Okay. I've had a few stray ones come in, and be like, oh, I finished the entire anime in the time it's taken you to read this little bit, or, there's a couple people that'll try to comment spoilers, but I have the few regulars that watch each of my videos are immediately, they point those out, and I'm staying out of comments for the most part, other than those trusted friends. But just really great and positive. So many people are they love experiencing it again. That's good. As I go through and post each manga panel, they forget stuff, and it's still been a blast, and that's why I've still stuck with it, and I'm still doing it consistently. If everyone wasn't really nice and receptive, it's not a journey that I would want to share and have it be received negatively. So I'm really
I'm happy you said that, because I know last time we talked, I vouched for the fandom as a whole. Yes. So I wanted to make sure that it was still true, because then you'd be looking at me like, hey man, you told me that everyone was cool, but
I've received plenty of warning, and again, you're on the internet, so you're gonna have the trolls and a few mean comments, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. Some people don't have the ability to just keep scrolling. They have to stop it, and that's okay. That is just fine with me. So I have enough of the community that's really, really positive that it makes the journey amazing regardless.
I love it. Okay, so let me start. Let me go ahead and ask. So now that you've went further into the story,
Hmm.
are there any arcs? And the answer might be no. And if it's no, that's fine. But now that you went farther in the story, you know more about characters and the relationships and the dynamics between each other. You got a lot of the crew together.
Hmm.
Well, actually, before I even get into that, let everyone know where you are because I know where you are, but everyone that's watching the series or watching this episode, they're not going to know where you are. So go ahead and set the stage on where you are in the manga.
Okay. Hopefully, I will have a video out on it by then. But I just finished the Amazon Lily arc
Okay.
today. I had to finish it after the last arc, the way that it ended. But yeah,
Mhm.
we're in the trenches. I
Yes.
thought we were
Yes.
in the trenches a couple arcs ago, and no,
No.
they continue. Actually,
No.
they get more intense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
What?
we're in a rough spot right now.
Yeah, it's about to turn up for sure. So now that you've went further and you have the different character dynamics and you know more about these different characters, has your view changed on any of the arcs prior to Water 7 like last time we talked? As far as the dynamics between characters, I know some of the things you were saying, you were wondering why the fandom broadly didn't speak higher praises for Usopp because of what you had seen him do up to Skypeia. I know that was a big thing that you had said. I know you were still kind of curious about what role Robin would play into the crew. Is there anything that changed? Not like maybe you have a deeper understanding about why people acted how they acted earlier in the show. Anything in
Sure.
terms of that?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, first of all, I will say I can see why so many people were hyping up Robin
Mhm.
through Alabasta. They're like, oh, just wait, and then in Skypiea, she's getting a little more comfortable, but there's still a lot of walls and boundaries that she's keeping. And then obviously we get into Water 7 and Enies Lobby and we see why and we see those walls break down. She
Yeah.
overall, I adore her. I adore her. I completely get why there's so much hype around her. It's so deserved. Listen, all right. I don't get me going on Usopp. I am gonna be a number one Usopp defender
Okay. Okay.
forever. I love him, and so many people were like, just wait till Water's that you'll see
Hmm.
why he's a pain." And I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm sorry. This actually has bonded me to him more. And
Wow. Okay.
same goes for Sanji. Everyone was convinced I was going to loathe Sanji after Thriller Bark.
The thriller. Yep.
Not the case. I get
Mhm.
it, and I don't blame anybody who has an issue for those reasons. For me personally, I still adore his character, and I think it's part of a bigger conversation to be said about Japan and the culture there, and not
It's true.
necessarily him with his character. And then I'm trying to think of any other like crew dynamics. You know, I will say I think I can understand why so many people were saying that they weren't fans of Skypiea because it's bordered by both Alabasta, which is
Yep.
incredible, and
Hmm.
then Water 7 and Enies Lobby. So
Hmm.
I understand. Once I got through Water 7 and Enies Lobby, I could understand why so many people were kind of like snooze fest with
Okay.
Skypiea, but Skypiea is also the arc that I can't stop thinking about.
Right.
It's always there. I feel like when I need to pick me up, I go back and I look at my favorite Skypiea panels.
Yeah.
That was just I'm like, this is pure pirate adventure, and then we get into trauma and emotional damage and extreme character development.
That was actually one of my questions I was going to ask because if you remember up to that point, your favorite arc was Skypiea. Have your feelings changed any about that arc now?
There is one arc that that does beat it, and it is Enies Lobby. I
Okay.
I know a lot of people squish Water 7 and Enies Lobby together as one arc,
Yes.
and I do understand why. I describe them as like Water 7 breaks the crew apart, and then Enies Lobby reforms them together as a family. I feel like it's the first it's such a pivotal set of arcs in multiple ways for the crew. And it very much it's the start, I feel like, of okay, this isn't like a fun pirate story, even though you
Mhm.
have scenes like back in Arlong Park and things like that where it covers more serious
Yeah.
themes. Everything like with Robin, especially, it just it goes to another level. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I adore Robin. Seeing the crew come together for her and for each other, the the beautiful way that Oda handled the Usopp situation and brought it back full circle in Enies Lobby. It was such a beautifully done arc. And as someone that puts so much effort on character development and emotional impact, it rings true for me. Skypeia is number 2. I still
Okay.
love
Number
it.
two.
It's a great I still don't get the hate on the arc. I think it's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic, but it is generally more goofy and fun. I am too biased because Anel, I still very much adore Anel as a villain.
That was one of
But
my questions, but yeah, okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, which we can circle back because
Yeah.
even I just finished it today, but there may be a character actually that is
Mm,
Anel may have some serious competition here.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, there's so much we got to talk about.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to deep dive the whole Water 7 situation for
Absolutely.
sure. Make no mistake. It's just I do want to give you a shout out too, because there was a moment in the last episode that we had,
Mhm.
which I knew was gonna hit so hard because you picked up on it. And when we're talking about Robin and her in Skypeia, how you were talking about she didn't even really refer to the crew by their names. She called them swordsman and navigator, all
Mhm.
of these different things. And you were like, yeah, I feel like we're going to get a Robin centered arc soon.
Mhm.
And we're going to be able to find out why she's essentially kind of reserved and really like kind of recluse and drawn away
Yeah.
from the crew. And I was like, oh my, I wish I could tell you at the time. I was like, Cheddar's, you're so spot on. And it's just, yeah, I just want to give you a shout out because you didn't even
Oh,
realize at the time, but that was such a good thing. I've been waiting to tell you that you
I
hit it
I
on the head.
love I love hearing feedback like that. I love it when my consistent viewers will be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I wanted to say something when you were back here when you said this and I just wanted you to get here." And I love those moments. I don't mind being dead wrong, and I often am because I feel like none of us can truly
Yeah,
figure out what this dude is thinking when he
it's hard.
draws.
It's hard.
Yeah, but it is very satisfying when you are reading and you're like, okay, especially when you get answers because
Hmm.
he's very stingy with when he wants to give
Yes.
answers or backstories, and sometimes it'll hit when you're not expecting, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, we're doing this now. But yeah, I was really hoping that we were gonna get more on Robin because all of Skypiea without, again, so much of the distance there.
Yep.
I
Yep.
would, yeah. Oh,
No, that's valid. I think, and again, like, because I was anime only when I started.
mhm.
So some nuances on my first watch through, I ain't pick up on. So I'm glad that you did, and it definitely shout out to you for peeping that. Um, so we do gotta move on to next. Well, give me your just a quick take on the
Yeah.
Foxy Pirate arc, Long Ring Long Land. Any
Oh,
quick thoughts on that? Because that arc is one of my favorite arcs, and
is
it
it
gets an
really?
Yeah, it gets an unreasonable amount of hate from the fandom. Is there anything
Yeah.
you could say to that? What's your
I
thoughts
had a
on
lot of
it?
negativity in my comments about that arc as well, and
Mhm.
I can understand it, and especially I think because so many said that in the anime it was like 2 or 3 times as long than it is in
Yeah,
the anime or than it is in the manga.
yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Again, I don't think it's possible for Oda to write an arc in this story that I'm not going to love or connect with in some way.
Mhm.
I really loved his I loved the crew coming together. I mean, Zoro and Sanji's match where they had to team up and they're fighting, but then they come together for Chopper, and then the whole Luffy and Usopp being his corner man, and they pick the afro.
Afro Luffy, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like when Foxy's disguise, he disguises as a woman, and so and Luffy's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, he has a sister." It's such a comedic, dumb thing, but then
Yeah.
end you end when we meet our first Navy admiral, and the
Mhm.
tone changes like that, and it so perfectly sets the tone for
Mhm.
just the emotional depravity that we're getting ready to experience with Water 7. I thought it was the perfect interim arc to wrap up from Skypeia and then again segue into something more serious. I thought it was
Exactly.
great.
That's a good segue into my next question because I was actually going to ask you about the admirals. So, of course, now you met Aokiji
Yep.
and then you met Kizaru in back in Sabaody.
Um,
What are your thoughts on those two?
so I originally had a lot of beef with Aokiji. I didn't like him. I didn't like how he scared Robin. But
Mhm.
then once you go into her backstory
Yeah.
and you see the connection and how he let her go. And again, there's an allude to the other um future. I believe he becomes an admiral. He's the one who he made the call to destroy the escape boat with all
Mhm.
of the citizens from O'Hara.
Mhm.
Um, and yet he's like, I don't like this. It feels like there's a balance. I think that he has a very unique sense of justice. And
Mhm.
again, his conversation with Robin, where she's leaning against the tree, and then he's talking to her, and she's shocked, and he's like, "Have you found a home with the
Mhm.
Straw Hats?" It totally changed my perspective with him. And again, I think that Oda gives these characters so many layers. I'm
Mhm.
very interested to see what becomes of him because I don't know his I don't think his viewpoint is necessarily linear. I think that there's
Mhm.
a lot of nuance to what he believes again in terms of justice and versus somebody like Kizaru. What which look, okay, he was already I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? And they spammed my comments with agenda piece when I first
Oh,
started, and I'm
wow.
like, oh, that's where this guy is.
Oh,
That's
the
where
picture of yeah.
yes. And first of all, and his both of their devil fruit powers are insane. And when we
Mhm.
first met Aokiji, it was again, it gives you a really great perspective just coming out of Skypiea because Enel had a Logia type fruit, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh my gosh,
It's
okay,
crazy,
well, wow.
yeah.
But it doesn't hit, I don't think, quite as hard because Luffy's made of rubber. It's his natural. I feel like you don't get the full punch of just how powerful they are, and
Right,
then you just see them all immediately outmatched with
right.
Aokiji, in like a panel.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, and then Kizaru, so I'm glad I was initially like, is his like explosions? Like what on earth is his devil fruit? And it's
Mhm.
light. My mind was blown. And the
Mhm.
way that he is able to use it so versatilely, it all makes me mad. I feel like I have personal beef with all of these villains, but oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, you're really cool and you're aura farming, but like
Mhm.
chill out. Like it's holy cow. I mean, the power, it's just on another level. Uh,
Mhm.
and we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
both of these personal interactions that the crew has had with now these two admirals, they are woefully outmatched. I mean, woefully. And there's however many of them now compared to just one. It's yeah, but they're scary. They're not, you know, they're not there to play around. They're very clearly admirals for a reason, and seeing the panic of everybody at that auction house when they said that they were gonna summon one of them, he does a really good job of really drilling it into you that the Navy are just, it's not a bunch of spandams. It's, you know, these are really powerful people.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of your beef with villains, you have coined a very funny term with a villain, Mr. Robert himself. Every time you talk about Robert, it's like such a this is like your thing now, and I love it. I love it. Like I don't know why I never even thought to just call him Robert. But
I don't know. I'm shocked that no one else has, because I'm like, this is your government name. Everyone's like, oh, it's Rob Lucci. I'm like, Robert the Pigeon Guy, or this
there
is
you
super.
Go.
Yeah, don't get me going. I hate him. I have so much beef with him. Of all the villains, I think he's him and Spandam. Well, no, I take that back. There are villains that are worse that made that list, but you know, they're just. Oda was trying to change my mind with the cover stories.
I was about to say,
yeah, no. I'm like, you're not gonna make me fall for this. But like Kaku having like the giraffe slide for the children, I'm like, that's cheap. That's really, you're not. How am I supposed to not have feelings when we're making these kids happy? But I'm like, and the minute they showed Robert sitting up in bed, fine, I'm like, no, I'm mad again. And then they go bowling, and there's, you know, we're at the auction house. I'm like, this is wrap it up. Get these guys off my page. I don't want to see them.
So what was your? I know I saw the video of your reaction to the whole CP9 reveal of being traitors. Just walk me back through those feelings that you had when you found that out.
I was floored. I've read a lot of books, and this was one of the worst betrayals I have ever read or experienced. I wasn't expecting it at all. I'm so thankful I was not spoiled for it.
Yes.
But I was like, you personally betrayed me. I was like, one of them is going to be the next crew member. I loved them. I really loved Lucci originally. Even though, you know, I thought his whole bit with the pigeon talking for him was funny. I thought that Kaku maybe was going to be the one to join the crew. I really loved their supposed relationship with Iceberg. It all felt so incredibly genuine, and I wasn't expecting it at all. I thought that, again, there were like Navy members just undercover or, you know, hidden in Water 7. I didn't think that it was the people in plain sight. And then, and with Khalifa to the secretary, that one hurt was like another level. I'm like, okay, the shipwrights, the secretary, the bartender,
everybody,
every single one was like a knife in the gut. And again, especially in the midst of all of this crew drama between Usopp and Luffy, it's a lot of really, really, really intense, again, betrayal and emotions. I was devastated. I couldn't believe it.
Water 7 was a time, like, I know when I first went through it, which I'm curious if you could expound on it here in a second.
Yeah.
I know when I first went through it, especially coming off of Skypeia, I knew there was more to Robin, but I didn't really know. of course, once you find out, when we actually talk to Iceberg and we kind of know what's going on with Robin, okay, it makes sense. But up to that point, before we actually got confirmation that, yeah, Robin's not fully in this, were you starting to feel kind of iffy about Robin? Like, at any point, did you think she was really betraying the crew?
I really wanted to believe that she was staying true, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was a situation where she would betray them and then, you know, kind of get redeemed later on. I really wasn't sure. She was such an enigma.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so mysterious, so mysterious. So it wasn't until the conversation when Iceberg is talking with Nami and Chopper and he recounted what was said, and the fact that she said that her wish was for the Straw Hats to escape safely. That was another stomach punch to the gut for me, because I was like, oh, she's gonna wish that she could like be part of the crew, or she you know, she's gonna wish for, you know, this, that, and the other. I was not expecting it to be such a simple, like, just longingly sweet wish. I mean, it genuinely caught me so off guard, and I feel like that was the first like really true and clear picture that we get of her as a person. And we know that she's hurting. Like, it's very clear that she's got a lot of hurt. But again, I think just of all the wishes that she could have, the fact that that's what she chose, you know, it was really, really devastating. It was, you know, it was really devastating. And I think, again, and if I can, the scene after that where Nami goes running and screaming to Luffy, you know, as the Aqua Laguna wave is coming. I mean, it so perfectly captures, I think, how we as readers felt experiencing that she needed help and she was trying to sacrifice herself. I mean, I feel like I don't talk about Nami as much, but when Nami has her moments, they are so impactful. You know, they are, I'm telling you, when she uses her voice and screams out, I mean, everybody is listening because she has something to say. And it was such a beautiful moment, I thought, of her, you know, being like, we need to get our crap together and go get her. So
it's funny that you say that, because that moment is actually one of my favorite moments in Water 7. And also, spoiler alert, Nami is my favorite character in general. Come here if I told you that last time.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't remember if I told you that last time or not.
I don't think I knew that.
Okay, yeah.
I know that you loved Arlong Park and her whole bit and story, but that totally makes sense.
Yes, Nami, there's so much depth to her character, and, you know, I think I just like, across anime in general, anything attached to lightning, I just gravitate towards it. I think that's what I'm finding out about myself. So maybe that's why I like Nami. I don't know. But one of my favorite moments in that arc was exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When she was out there talking to Iceberg and he was telling her, hey, you know, this is what's going on with Robin. Now that we finally know. And she had told him, great, you know, basically, now that we know what's really going on with her, we can feel mentally cleared now. And nothing will stop us at this point because we know what's going on with Robin now. Yeah. And I think that's a good summary just for the Straw Hat crew in general, because they really will go to the ends of the earth to do things for their friends. And we see Luffy model that. And that's something that I think is innately in every one of them. But her having that moment with Iceberg just solidified. And it's like, man, that's so true. It is so true. Every arc you'll see that's so true. They'll do whatever, but when the judgment is a little bit cloudy, they're still gonna go, but they are not gonna be able to put their 100% into it because they don't know what they're really fighting for, you know. So I think that was one of my favorite moments, at least in that up to Water 7. I think that was what hit hard for me, you know. And then of course we go on to the train and Sanji has his moments
Yeah.
fighting with the other chef. That was the time. So I am curious though, since we're talking about this moment, just quickly run me through your stages of feelings for Frankie from Water 7 to Enies Lobby. Because I'm sure that was a fun roller coaster.
Yeah, I think to this moment, I think this is the most emotional whiplash that I have had for one character. And
Mm,
that's saying a lot because I have it a lot,
mhm.
as Oda does with these characters. I mean, I love Usopp, so seeing him that broken and beaten by Frankie and his gang not once but twice,
Twice.
and I was
Yeah.
the panel where it's Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Chopper all getting ready to go bust up the house. I was like, "Oh, let's do it."
Yeah.
We are locked in and ready. And then you have this bit and Frankie kidnaps Usopp to use him as ransom, and then he's sitting there crying. I mean, within like that those 2 pages, the first 2 pages, I'm like, well, all right, I guess I have to like Frankie now. I mean, he's such a he's such a goof, but he's such a tenderoni, and
Mhm.
I really, really it was amazing what Oda was able to do with that one chapter and give us such a clear picture, into how he views things and how his brain works,
Yeah.
and seeing his and Usopp's disagreement about how they should honor Mary as a ship, where
Mhm.
he sees her as a dying ship. It's disrespectful to draw it out. Usopp sees her as a family member and a friend, and why wouldn't you do everything to keep her going if you can? So I think it was a really unique and clever way to kind of showcase their different just the way that their brains are wired. It's not necessarily like one of them is better than the other. They're
Mhm.
just they have fundamentally different opinions, and then we go into his backstory, of course, and there's a lot of hurt and pain and his sense of failure, and I Frankie is also one of my favorites
Okay.
right now, especially after Thriller Bark. I I adored him in Thriller Bark. I feel like I've said it in my videos, but he and Robin are just the mom and dad of the crew. I love
Right.
it.
Right.
He wants to take care of the crew. He goes about it the wrong way sometimes, and again, especially in Water 7, absolutely, but it's hard to he's also figuring out life. He's got a lot
Mhm.
of trauma of his own that he's clearly working through, and I
Right.
thought that it was a very clever way that he dismantled himself essentially, and he takes the brunt of a lot of it. There's so much deep symbolic meaning in the fact that he's a cyborg, and he replaced his own body. He abuses his own body because he the guilt that he feels towards how things went with Tom. But yeah, I adore him now. I loathed him at the beginning of Water 7. I thought he was the big bad of Water 7, and I think that's the thing. You're reeling from the betrayal of CP9 and the
Mhm.
shipwrights, and then all of a sudden Frankie's crying and he has a heart, and I'm like, am I reading properly? Am I
Mhm.
digesting this properly? Because I feel I was floored. I mean, really, you're just trying to keep your head above water
Right.
in
It
Water 7.
was.
That's pretty much how Water 7 is.
So at what point did you cross over from hating him to liking him? Like what was that moment between that saga?
It was the moment where he threw Usopp into the water and he made him see the foundational
Mm.
crack,
Okay.
because it's such a harsh thing, but I feel like it so clearly depicted why he was so intent. He
Mhm.
helped Usopp fully admit that he knew that Mary was irrevocably broken and damaged. And the way that he talks about the ships, like you could tell he cares for them, and he was serious in wanting Usopp to reconcile with his
Right.
crew because he has his own family. And then also, I mean, his backstory and everything too, but then also the line that he says to Robin on when they're on the train together, um, where he says existing is not a crime.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
you see that, just I feel like that was the first major seed that fully planted within her, because you see it through Enies Lobby. It's they're unraveling her bit by bit, and I feel like that was the start of it.
Mm.
He's the one who said this to her, and I feel like it stuck. And I see that quote a lot, still bounced around and brought up as people's favorites. And it
Yes.
was a very, very memorable, impactful moment for me when I read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie's one of them ones. He's definitely one of them ones. So since we're on Water 7, okay, now we have to have our fully flushed out Usopp conversation. Okay. This
Alright.
was definitely going to come. But I'll ask you this
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people in the fandom that still do not forgive Usopp for what happened in Water 7. And I know, as you have dubbed yourself, you are an Usopp defender.
Mhm.
What would you say to that part of the fandom in his defense?
Well, if Luffy can forgive him, so can you. So if Luffy has this guy on his crew and you're still holding beef, then you're not a real straw hat and you need to let it go.
Ooh.
It's the Usopp is family. He is Nakama. So the fact that you're still holding on to this, Luffy would
Mm.
punch you square in the face with a Gatling punch for that. So I I'm just laying it out. If the crew can move past it, so can you. And also work on your reading comprehension, because there's a lot of layers
Okay.
to Usopp and this whole interaction. A ton. So, but
Valid. I love it.
yes,
I love it.
I don't hold back when it comes to this moment, because
No,
I
please,
was
please.
shocked I was shocked at the amount of negativity, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you guys
Mm-hmm.
take the glasses off and put a different pair on, because you're not seeing clearly here.
Oh yeah,
This
you're
is all right.
okay. No, I
Take
love
my
it.
glasses and put them on, because something's wrong with how you're interpreting
Man.
this.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then on that same thing. So with Usopp, when you got into Water 7,
Mhm,
take me through your different stages of feelings of the disagreement, because initially, before we got full context as
mhm,
to why Usopp was upset,
mhm.
did you feel at any point that okay, maybe Usopp is doing too much when Luffy had initially told him, or is like okay, I fully all the way through understand what Usopp is going for?
No, I fully understood. And I'm not,
Okay.
and when I say I'm an Usopp defender, I'm not saying that what he did was right or that
Okay.
how he reacted was okay. I simply mean that I understand him.
Mm,
Usopp, and
I like it.
it's been very, very clearly laid out and layered and hinted through the series since we met him in Syrup Village. And Syrup Village is actually still one of my favorite arcs as well.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and I know a lot of people hate Syrup Village, but I love that arc for a variety of reasons. But, you know, Usopp feels this intense self-hatred and insecurity because he's around devil fruit users and now cyborgs and navy officials, and he is constantly being reminded that he is just human, right? And especially I think being a guy, it's he feels routinely like he can't measure up. So when he's put in charge of this money, all of this treasure and money that the
Mhm.
crew made, and he not only gets more than 2/3 of it stolen, more than they've ever possibly dreamed of, and he not allows it, but he was responsible for it. And then he gets beaten up. And the way that he cried to Nami and begged her, don't get the crew, don't get the guys. I don't want them to see me like this. It was, it's this whole incident is just the epitome of his self-confidence and self-image, you know, and then the fact that he goes back and then he gets beat again. And then the rest of the crew has had at least a few minutes to sit with this realization that Mary is not going to make it. He
Yeah.
wakes up from this complete and utter humiliation of being beaten, having the money stolen, immediately to, oh, hey, don't worry about the money. We're going to use the remaining 100 million to buy a second ship because Mary's got to go. And I don't think that this was Luffy's fault, but I think that Luffy copes with optimism and positivity and smiling and laughter. That's just how he is. This is a fun, being a pirate is fun. It's how he views it. So, but he's drowning in his own grief right now, which is why I believe that he was not as tapped into his emotional intelligence as he normally is, because clearly this was not the right thing to say to Usopp. And they get to fighting and arguing, and there's even a moment when Luffy, they're fighting and he says, and you know, if you're going to be this way, you can just go ahead. And then Sanji kicks him, says, shut up, stop talking. You're going to say something that you regret. And the fact that Luffy was about to lose control and say something like that, I think it just goes to show the height of how awful this situation is. So obviously these two are, and they're teenagers. I feel like people forget this. Like,
Yeah.
what teenager is emotionally regulated enough to handle this properly?
Yeah.
This has been, you know, a huge thing. So, you know, and another thing that people really get mad at, I noticed, I think the most, is that he went is how he fought Luffy. He went all out in his fight with Luffy. And people say, they're like, "Oh, he went all out and he did all this damage to Luffy and he never does that in his other fights." And I'm like, have we been reading the same character? First of all, he knows Luffy inside and out. He knows how Luffy fights, he knows how Luffy is. He is going to have a lot more insight on how to fight his friend and crewmate that he has been with for the past couple months every day, versus this random villain that they're just fighting for the first time. But even then, he's very successful against the Baroque Works member along with Chopper back in Alabasta. He succeeds in that fight. He was ready to stand ground against Enel in Skypeia. We see it he makes his stand against Kuro as much as he can. I think that he's very brave. He steps in a lot, even in Arlong Park. You know, he was right alongside them trying to fight as well as he could to help get Nami back. But I think that the people who don't like him for this is why Usopp is insecure, because this is how the people's negativity and reaction towards him is exactly how he thinks the rest of the crew sees him, as this useless, crybaby, cowardly, weak individual. And that's just not the case. You know, he does a lot of behind the scenes work, and obviously, you know, the Mary was a gift from Kaya. Is you know, there's all the history there. So, you know, and then you know, there's several moments in Enies Lobby that so beautifully wrap up this bit. And again, I don't think that what he did was right, which is why at the very end of Enies Lobby and the scene with Zoro, it makes me love and respect Zoro, because he calls out, he said what needs to be said, and he is the confrontation that the crew doesn't always want to have. He calls it and sees it, and Usopp apologizes. It's such a beautiful way to wrap up the arc. So yeah, and him going into soaking,
Yeah,
you know, it's a mask. He's gonna be the guy and the hero that he wants to be and that he thinks that he should be. And in Enies Lobby, he comes to realize that he's what the crew needs. Usopp is what the crew needs, not Sniper.
Mm-hmm.
Usopp is that. And again, Sanji is the one who I feel like really hits home. He's the one that makes Usopp fully realize this. And it's a I love Sanji. I could go on about him too, but you know, he's an incredibly complex character. He's a vital part of the crew. And you often see him in the background checking on characters to make sure that they're okay. He checks on Chopper in Skypeia, and Chopper feels devastated because the Mary got damaged when they were ambushed, and he goes, "Oh, well, it's okay. The ship can be fixed, but you can't be replaced, so it's okay." And it's like a minor background conversation. And it's just those little things as a reader that you pick up on and you pay attention to. And as I feel like in my own life, I tend to be the person who does a lot of behind the scenes things, and that's how Usopp is. And I just relate to him. And also I'm like, who hasn't overreacted emotionally one time or another and done things that we regret? I
Right.
don't I think it's a little arrogant of anybody to look down on Usopp for reacting the way that he did. Um, when it's a very human thing. And at the end of the day, that is Usopp. He's very human. He makes mistakes, but he's resilient and he cares for his friends. He did disobey his captain, but his sorry at the end of Annie's Lobby still makes me emotional if I think about it. It was,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
No, I
such
understand.
such a great moment.
No, I completely understand. I do want to ask also with that same scene that we had just talked about with the Frankie throwing him into the water.
Mhm.
That scene ironically gets a lot of people give a lot of flack to Usopp in that scene. But I want to get your take on it because in that scene, when he goes in the water and he
Mhm.
sees the ship from the bottom,
Mhm.
when he comes up, they have that conversation between them two, and Usopp tells him, "I knew the whole time that
Mhm.
this was the case." Did that, in your opinion, did that undercut Usopp's positioning with the argument, or was it does that kind of still along the same lines?
No, because a fundamental part of Usopp's character is lying. So he was lying to himself that Mary was gonna be okay,
Mm,
and he genuinely viewed her as a crewmate,
hmm.
um, and as a family member. How many of us would lie to ourselves and say, "Oh, it's not they're gonna get better. They're gonna be
Hmm.
okay." I think it's a very human reaction, and again, I didn't support what he did or the way that he reacted, but to see him break down, I think, and tell the truth when he's been lying and lying, to see him have to admit and he breaks down. And same deal when CP9 um launches Mary off, his look of absolute, I mean, guttural screaming agony. It paints a very clear picture of just how attached to this ship that he is. So
Yeah.
I don't support it necessarily. But I just understand. I can see where he's coming from. He's this young kid. It's the last piece of home that he has. He's done all the work to her behind the scenes in the way that the crew hasn't. And you know, that's why I think though that characters like Frankie and Zoro are great because they force Usopp to confront the truth when he wants to lie. It's a
Good point.
fundamental flaw of his character, but the important thing is that he makes up for it. He makes amends. He has to apologize. He has to do the work to go back to the crew. And I think that's, you know, he had to come. painfully face to face and aware of what he knew and was trying to keep buried. So I can understand. I understand the frustration. Maybe it's because I'm a mom and I just have more of a sympathetic nature and I'm like, this poor kid is suffering. How do you guys not like see this? I just want to like, I don't know. I just want to give him a hug. That's
No, I get it.
how I felt, he's just hurting, but the whole crew is, Robin's gone. There's everything's in shambles at this point. So I'm like, I can't fault any of the crew members for just trying to move along in whatever way they can,
Yeah,
But again, the Enies Lobby is really, really important, in
for sure.
establishing. Like they can't, and Zoro was so right. Like we can't be doing this when we
Right.
go down the line. And holy cow, he's right. Because I mean, oh, I, I'm still hurting from finishing that arc today.
I remember watching the videos. You were like, "Oh, if this ship becomes sentient, I'm gonna lose it."
Oh
I
my
was like, "Oh my
gosh.
god!" I remember seeing that. Oh man.
Listen, I genuinely had no idea. I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea, but I was like, he was talking about the Cloudbatterman. I was like, oh, maybe it'll like imbue itself into the ship, and okay, there's really no way. And I will say too, I think that moment where we see Usopp see the crack, it's also for us readers to fully realize that she is beyond repair. I was delusional. I was still hoping.
Oh, you believed it was possible still?
Yes, yes, and
Mm-hmm.
that's another reason with Usopp. I'm like, okay, we're in One Piece. Like, there's
Yeah,
got to be some like
that's fair.
person with a
Yeah,
devil fruit that can touch something and rewind it, so it's fine.
that's fair.
I was really holding out hope that
Mhm.
it would be fine. Yeah, that goodbye is uh
Yeah.
other than Robin's scene, that one hurts. I'll be like having a great day and that scene will like cut across my vision and I'm like, "You know what?"
Is that so? Would you say that's the saddest moment in One Piece up to this point? The going Mary's goodbye.
I would say the one I just read, I think I'm still in like shock and I haven't fully registered it.
Mm-hmm.
Um because I don't play about Luffy either.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I should have mentioned it. I think I have a recording, a draft somewhere where I'm like, I'm realizing that all of the crew have had these like really devastating moments
Mm-hmm.
except Luffy. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why did I even think about that? Why did I speak it into existence? But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
the going, yeah, see, oh, Luffy crying and her saying thank you. I was happy to. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was diabolical. I
Mm-hmm.
never in my life did I think I would be crying over a sentient
Yep. I
talking
remember
ship.
it.
I did not think that that was in the cards for me
I rem-
when I started this thing. But
I
yeah, it was.
remember watching that video.
Uh,
I was like, "Oh, you're in trouble, Cheddar's. You're in trouble, man."
Yeah. Yeah. That, and then I feel like I don't talk about this often as well, but the scene in Robin's flashback between her and her mom,
Mm,
cut the tape. I can't.
mm-hmm.
I That one I also will start getting emotional if I think about it too much. Again, as a mom who has a daughter, I'm like, I can't do this today.
Yeah.
I Oh, so sad and painful. Hers is definitely the worst backstory that I've read.
That was actually one of my next question, so I'm glad you said it.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, what?
So,
Which is the saddest backstory?
yeah, which I figured you were gonna go Robin because
Yeah.
I can it's gonna
Nami is close.
Yeah, no, that
Nami,
yeah.
and I mean, and
Chopper, yeah.
yeah, I mean, that one is intense. I anything with,
Mhm.
those dang parental figures, they get me
Mhm. Yeah.
every single time, and I fear that there are more of them ahead, and I'm terrified. I'm like, I we haven't seen much from Luffy, and her. I mean, we
Mm.
see Shanks, that's Romance Dawn, and
Mhm.
we see him with Shanks, but all this
Mhm.
stuff with Ace is really heating up, and we don't know anything. I'm like, I want the memories.
Mhm.
Maybe. I say that, but I'm like, what does that
Ah.
come with? What baggage does that come with? So,
Yeah, it's gonna get very interesting.
yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm
Yeah.
a I'm gonna switch gears quickly because
Yeah.
I just want to ask favorite characters on the Straw Hat crew. Can you rank them? I didn't ask you that last time, but I do want to make note before you answer that. Who you said last time was you said Luffy was your favorite.
Mhm.
Then you said Zoro as well. You said you have to say Luffy, but
Mhm.
if you don't say Luffy, you say Zoro. And you were like, but Robin, I'm really feeling Robin. I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's what you said last time. I'm curious now, how do you rank them and what would your of favorites, how would you rank them?
Sure. So, I there's always the battle with Luffy, right? Because it's Luffy. He's the MC. I I Robin is my favorite. If
Yep.
overall, she's my
Figured. Yep.
favorite. I just connect with her.
Hmm.
She's my favorite. Um, Number 2, especially now, it's Luffy. I adore him. He's our MC. I just adore him. Number 3, people are gonna get really mad at me. It's Sanji.
Okay. Sanji. Okay.
Sanji's number 3. I adore him. There is so much depth and complexity to his character. After Sanji, it is Zoro. After
Mm,
Zoro, it's Usopp.
okay.
And then if I had to keep going, oh my gosh, Brooke, I forgot about gosh dang it.
We're segueing to him next.
Backstories.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
okay. See, I can't keep up with the levels of
Hmm.
devastation here. So I, I really hate ranking them because I feel so personally connected to all of them.
Mm,
But I feel like I can't rank any lower than that because I love them all the same. I really don't even want to say that I have a least favorite because
mm,
I just can't. I just can't. I mean, they're all great. I mean, maybe it would be Brooke just because he's the newest and we haven't journeyed with him enough yet. I haven't bonded to him. I mean, he was with us for like 3 days and now he's gone again.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
but yeah, I adore Robin and Luffy's heart. You just can't, again, I don't think you can read this. And I know people say that it's like, oh, you have to say Luffy, but you don't. He's genuinely a phenomenally written character, loves
Mhm.
his crew, and so does Sanji. Obviously, the nothing happened in Thriller Bark from Zoro. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
powerful moment,
Oh yeah.
powerful moment from him, and such an understated. It perfectly encapsulates Zoro.
Right.
It's a big and flashy and cool thing, but it's so quietly just put down and put to rest, and
Yeah.
very humble. Just golly, Thriller Bark was a ride. It was hilarious, and then we get to the ending mark, and
Hmm.
it packs that punch.
Speaking of the ending of that arc, when Kuma pulls up, what were you feeling when he got there?
Um, Terror, because he's ginormous. I did not
Mhm.
realize he was that big, and then when the moment I think where I was like, oh, but I mean, we're used to bigger character. I mean, Moria is big, but he was just goofy.
Yeah.
It's the moment when Zoro goes to hit him and it reveals that he's metal.
Yep.
And he starts talking about how he's a pacifista, and then like he opens his mouth and it's like this laser beam. Something about that was just so unsettling, uncanny valley for me. Like drop to my stomach talking, and again we get this Dr. Vegapunk mentioned.
Mhm.
We were briefly met him in Enies Lobby, or he was mentioned in Enies Lobby,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, just scary. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that he just like Perona, just
Yep.
gone,
If you
gone.
could go anywhere on a vacation, where would you go? Boop.
Unsettling,
Yeah.
unsettling, and
Yeah.
then everyone's unconscious, and oh, and his line where he goes, all right, um, I'll take your deal, but I'm gonna give you a glimpse of hell. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm sorry, excuse me? Where
Mhm.
what's worse than this, and oh, I mean, it's such an impactful scene, and the fact that Zoro wants to move it elsewhere so that no one would come to and hear him.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's He's just very mysterious, but then the fact that he shows up again the next arc, I'm like, dude, we just got rid of you and now there's like four of you everywhere.
Right, exactly.
Very creepy, very unsettling. He seems very cold. I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know. And he also kind of seems like a mystery to the people in the Navy. Like, it kind of seems like, when Kizaru was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And Kuma's like, "I
Right.
don't have to tell you anything."
Exactly.
Just very, very odd. There's clearly, I'm sure, much to learn about his character at a later
Mhm.
date, but I don't know. I feel like this is the first. It's like, oh, the seven warlords of the sea, and it's Crocodile getting beat, it's Moria getting beat,
Mhm.
it's not really like any level of intimidating to
Right.
me until I feel like Kuma is the first one where I've been like, okay, that sends chills down my spine. I will say, except for Doflamingo, we just haven't like he hasn't met the crew
Mhm.
personally, but every mention of him as well, I'm terrified of him too. I don't him and Kuma
Yeah, he
are the
keeps
two that
getting
I'm like,
subtle
these are bad.
mentions. He gets these subtle mentions throughout, these different arcs randomly. It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
attached to
way
that
back in
too."
Gaia,
Mhm.
we've been teased about Doflamingo, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
what is up with this wacko, obsessed with smiling? I said in one of my videos that he reminds me of the Joker with his
Mm.
obsession with smiles, and he's always laughing, and it creeps me out. It creeps me out because
Mhm.
it's the unhinged laughing guys are the worst. They just are. Like they're happy to be laughing while they're committing absolute atrocities. So
Mhm.
I don't know when, especially at this point, we're gonna see him. I'm happy to just have it be later, but
Right.
I don't know. The stuff at the auction house too, I thought it was a very interesting callback.
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But Kuma, very terrifying, very mysterious. The bear paws were a little confusing.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, what the story is behind that, but who?
I have a few more questions about Sabaody specifically.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna start from the beginning though. The gag with Duval. Was this not the funniest thing you've seen in One Piece up to this point?
After finishing the arc, I need to go back in the anime and watch this for a
Please,
movie.
yes.
I was
Yes.
howling with laughter. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's probably like a previous villain that we've met." And then he said his beef was with Sanji, and I'm
Mhm.
like, maybe it was a dude that he kicked like back in Bradier or something, like an offended
Mhm.
customer. And he takes that helmet off and it looks exactly like his wanted poster. It was I say honestly that Oda's humor is one of my favorite types of author humor that I've read, period. I
Yeah.
it was hysterical, and then bringing back, like, we have that weird plastic surgery fight with the other chef on the train in
Yep.
Water 7, and it's, like, never mentioned again. So the
Mhm.
fact that he just casually is like, "Oh, yeah, I have this in my wheelhouse now, I'll use it to fix you up," and,
Mhm.
his gig with the now they're the Rosie writers, and he's Mr. Handsome.
Yep.
It killed me. It was again, with the emotional whiplash, I was like, "All right, after the ending of Thriller Bark and Brooke's
Yeah.
backstory, we're back. This is great and fun." And then we meet the Celestial Dragons, and I'm like, "Can we just rewind? Can we go back
Mhm.
ball like a few
Yep.
pages ago,
Yep.
please?"
That's exactly where I'm about to go. I
Ah,
gotta ask before we go to that though, because
yeah,
I know we already talked about Mr. Robert and how Oda is getting you to like or trying
mhm,
to get you to like certain villains.
yeah,
We got Hatchan again back from Arlong Park.
yes.
Thoughts on him, and do you like him now? And at what point did that change? Did you think you would like him if you do like him now?
I do like him now. I was not expecting to at
Mm,
all.
okay.
I will say even back in the writing, I don't know, I kind of thought that there was maybe more to his character, even back at
Mm,
Arlong Park and the way that he fought. I mean, there's just something about Arlong's cruelty that it I just wondered, and then we see his cover story, and that whole journey, but it was so long ago that I was shocked to see him back. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's right, we had this whole cover story bit." But,
mhm.
it's the moment where Nami forgives him. And
Mm,
again, I'm like, this is Nami. Nami has the right to either hold this or forgive it. So
yeah.
if she can forgive it and move on, I she's my girl. Like I'm gonna support her 100%. And the rest of the crew feels the same way. They were very, they wanted to respect, Nami. And I love when they pulled up and realized that it was Hachi. And they
Mhm.
were like, "Pack it up. Let's get out." Like they were all even Luffy, who's always like, "Let's help everybody." He was like, "Nah, let's turn around and get out
Right.
of here." I mean, there was takoyaki on the line and he was
Mhm.
like, "Gosh dang it, it's a loss, but it's all right. We're out of here." But his care for Kami and the scene with him at the auction house, and he's like, "I'm so sorry you got roped into this. It isn't what I
Mhm.
wanted." And you can just tell there's genuine remorse and good character development here. He went from just the villain sidekick to he's gone through his own journey and story, and again seeing now the levels of persecution that he and his people deal with. I mean, I'm still reeling from all of this. It even makes me wonder back with Arlong. I'm like, did you experience this? Is that why you went and wanted to take over an
Mm,
island and abuse humans and treat them? Were you treated that way? And so you're just rehashing the cycle in a different way. I don't
mhm.
know. It just makes me wonder, but I really do like he and Kami's relationship. I think it's very cute. And I thought it was funny that, I mean, the crew they can eat an insane amount. But I loved how he was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, you guys can eat. I'm exhausted,." But all
Yeah.
right. So I thought it was a great reintroduction to his character.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Did you think that One Piece would introduce the theme of slavery? Would you think that was coming?
I not necessarily slavery. I could see it, but like the level of human trafficking and human Because they're pirates, so it makes sense to me. I wasn't expecting it to be introduced in the way that it was. I maybe thought
That's
it
my
would be
next question.
in passing and then brought up. I quite literally had to put it down because I wasn't expecting it to just hit me in the face so openly
Yeah.
and blatantly as it was. And yeah, it people were saying like, "Hey, it gets dark." And I'm like, I've read dark, I'm prepared.
Mhm.
We've gone through so much, and it very clearly is just we turn the lamp off.
Right.
We are
Right.
we are imbued in darkness here. It's really disturbing, and it's disturbing because it's real. And they're real issues. This is, we like to, hey, we're with pirates on a fun pirating adventure, but it covers the evils and realities that comes with being in a world like this.
Yeah.
And ironically, having it so close to the Navy headquarters and the world government headquarters, and it's like this is where we see it. It's really made my stomach turn. Just the introduction of it. We were floating on the bubble bikes,
Hmm.
like buying souvenirs, and
Right.
it's like, oh,
Yeah, literally
okay,
adding the music part. Exactly.
well, yeah, like we get it here. We didn't get it in,
Yeah.
literally anywhere else. We didn't even get a hint of it or a whisper of it. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, all right, get your cotton candy with a side of, oh, avert your eyes.
Right.
Some serious evil crawling down the road. I'm like, oh, it was,
Oh my God. That's so
yeah,
true.
it was
That's so
intense.
true.
Yeah,
Um,
I was
no,
not prepared.
I would be remiss to not at least ask you about the punch on St. Charlos, just so you can give your opinion and feedback on the
Which
punch.
I was saying Carlos, and I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I bet you, because Oda's making this guy as annoying and
Mhm.
awful as humanly possible. I bet you pronounce his name as Charlos. And sure
Mhm.
enough, my comments were like, oh, it's you pronounce the H. So satisfying. I was so mad when Bonnie interrupted Zoro's attack on him at the amusement park. I
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
why she did it, but the whole it's just the build up, and the implications. Again, they don't have a lot of screen time, and already the implications of just how evil and terrible these individuals are. It's really, really disturbing.
Yeah.
So, and again, you see all of these the pirates and everything, and then they're all afraid to to make the move. They're all afraid to step on toes, and Luffy just comes crashing in. And
Yeah, he doesn't care.
absolutely not. Yeah, we're not doing this. You're not
Yeah.
you're not selling my friend. I don't think so.
Mhm.
And clearly we learned that he's gonna, I don't think he would ever regret it, but the fear, the palpable fear and the warning was justified, from everyone else. But
Yes. Okay.
yeah, one of the worst. I've never in my life hated a character more instantly than the Celestial Dragons, Saint Charlos specifically. But I really, really, really bad, diabolical work. I'm like, then it hits us with the cover stories with CP9, and I feel like that's on purpose. I
Yeah.
feel like that's it part because they're like, "Ah, these guys are the worst." And then he's like, remember these
Mhm.
guys thought were bad? They're performing party tricks to
Yeah,
pay
now they're
hospital
nice.
bills. You bet you wish you
Mhm.
were with them right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, nasty. And I'm really, and there's more of them. I mean, the revelation that there were 20 kings,
Yeah.
that founded the world government, and the fact that they're descended from those 20 kings obviously implies that there's a lot more of them. Great.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
I'm like, I gotta enroll in some anger management classes or get a stress ball or something when I'm reading because every panel, I don't know how he manages to make them so insufferable.
Mhm.
But it's yeah, I mean, Spandam times infinite. I thought his, and he's the nepo baby.
Yep.
I mean, crazy,
Yep.
crazy work. Which I will say, seeing him hit the cover stories with Spandam, and he's just
Mhm.
puffed up. Unfortunately, he's still with us. But if that's the case, at least he's,
At
you
least
know,
he's beat up. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That final move that Robin did at the
Yes.
end as they were leaving really did him in. But
Good.
yeah, no, terrible, terrible. And I fear for the crew going forward for sure, because everyone knows that it was the Straw Hats.
Yeah,
Everyone knows.
that's true. Um, I'll
Oh,
ask on that since we're already talking about Sabaody. You got
yeah.
introduced to a lot of new pirates. What are your thoughts on the all the
Oh,
pirates that you got introduced to?
yeah. I love the character design for so many of them. It amazes
Yep.
me that he can come up with so many. I mean, my favorite is Law, hands down. Like that
Okay.
moment in the auction house where they're talking about all a kid sees Law and he's like, "Oh, that's Law," and he's got terrible manners and he's just giving him the bird. I was not expecting that at all. I found it so funny, and he's got his like bear crew member.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then his devil fruit power. And I love that they mentioned that he was like nicknamed the surgeon, I think, and then he's literally like switching body parts from
Yeah.
people. Very, very, very interesting. I really like Kid as well. I liked that he kind of rage baited Luffy and Law into fighting with him.
Right.
And we get this awesome battle with the three of them just
Mm-hmm.
mowing down Navy people. And then Hawkins was
Hawkins. Yeah.
crazy. I'm like, oh, this dude's kind of lame. And then, I mean, he confidently was sitting there against Kizaru, saying that
Yep.
it wasn't his time. But then when
Mm-hmm.
he transforms into, I don't even think it listed what his devil fruit power was, but
Yeah.
turns into this monster with a creepy face. Really, really crazy stuff. Really, really nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I mean, I just wanna know the details about all of them. I'm like, "How did you come
Yeah.
up with these? Are we gonna get the stories on all of them? Are they all going to the new world?" Like, I mean, 500 pirates, they said, were captured.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, were any of them in that 500? So, I'm very curious, but there were a ton introduced. But I would say Law, Kid, and Hawkins were probably the ones that, you know, are in my mind the most, and
Yeah.
Law especially too because he I noticed that he had the same um like smiley face looking things as Doflamingo's symbol
Mm.
in the thing you see it, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but he's the captain. But I'm like, okay, which I know you're not going to tell me any of this. This is just me spouting, but he's got the if if Doflamingo's a warlord, he's obviously not a pirate captain anymore. So if Law inherited that from Doflamingo, maybe that's if they're connected at all. But I feel like the smiling is it's too it's too close to be coincidental. And I feel like
Mm.
if anything, that's one thing I'm learning with this
Okay.
dang story is just remember every detail, make a note of it. It could be
Yeah.
coincidence, it could not. So
Y- You know what's funny is that in the anime, that scene where he's flipping them off,
yeah.
they don't even have that's not even in the anime. They don't show you him flipping
Oh,
the
they
bird.
took it out? Oh
Yeah,
my
they
gosh.
he kind of like threw up like two fingers or something. Like he didn't flip them the bird. So
Oh,
not
okay.
a
Well, that
the
would make
anime
sense,
onlys
I
wouldn't
guess.
even know that's a scene that because that's not in there. You
That's
know,
so funny. That's the panel that was like, "Oh, I like this guy."
right?
He's got some sass in him,
Mhm.
because I kind of was like, "Oh, he kind of looks like puny and a little sickly, and then he just turns, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you've got a backbone. All right. I
Right.
like it." So, I don't know, man. But now
Okay.
I don't yeah, we're spread all over the map now. So,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't I don't know how we're coming back from this. I'm gonna have to keep reading, but
What
wow.
did you feel when the last person got popped away, Luffy, by Kuma? What was your thoughts in that moment?
I legitimately my brain was empty. Like I still feel like that when I think about it. I was so shocked and horrified. I mean, it was like, where do we go from here? Are we going to be transported into another dimension? Are we going to be
Mm,
all separated? Are we
mhm.
gonna did anyone survive? I mean, did he put, are we I really I had no idea. I think it was just I was reeling from Luffy's devastation. The whiplash. I mean, because I really Rayleigh comes in, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna make it. They're gonna escape." And they don't.
Mm.
I so was genuinely convinced that they were gonna make it, and they were gonna be fine because they're the Straw Hats and they're the main crew. So to see them lose, I mean, it was devastating. When Luffy screamed, "Run!"
Mhm.
I got chills because that's not who he is. For him to scream, "I need you guys to run. We're not strong enough to fight them. You're
Yeah.
in danger." And again, the fact that he is the one who initially punched Charlos and initiated this whole thing, and then he has to see all of his crewmates
Mhm.
go one by one. It's literally the most devastating thing possible that could happen to him.
That was such an interesting moment because, of course, up to that point, right, in Sabaody, when they ended up getting popped away by Kuma, that was the only time that Luffy probably realized I can't just do things win. Like, cause he really could just punch anybody he wanted to up to
Yeah.
this point in the show. He could say anything to anybody because, hey, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna win. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But now he's gotten himself in this situation where he's like, okay, yeah, I know y'all are gonna send admirals and warships if I punch
Yeah.
him. I don't like him. I'm just gonna punch him. Okay,
Mhm.
well, you did that, and you think, all right, well, we can just get rid of everything that comes at us. Nope. You got Sentomaru, you got Kizaru, you got pacifistas. What are you gonna do now? And I think
Yeah.
that was an interesting moment for his character to be able to learn. I got to be more measured in the decisions that
Yeah.
I take because, to your point, they're teenagers,
Yeah.
and he's never really truly lost. He's
Yeah.
always found a way to win. So at
Exactly.
some point, you have to take a loss to understand that you need to take things a little bit more seriously. So I
Yeah.
think that's valid.
Yeah, and there's a moment too when they're fighting against the Kuma model, when Zoro takes a hit pretty hard and he falls,
Mhm.
and you see on Luffy's face, like, it registers, and he's like, you couldn't take that?" Like, I feel like that's the moment where it really hits for him that whatever happened to Zoro at the end of Thriller Bark was no joke. Like,
Right.
he seriously got injured, and then you see, obviously, he's the first to be targeted, and the rest of the crews panic, and
Mhm.
especially from Sanji, Luffy, and Brook. And Sanji and Brook know what happened. But then
Mhm.
again, I feel like that moment truly registered with Luffy that he's not good, and you see his panic, before Rayleigh steps in. There he's like, "Oh my gosh, like, he's not gonna make it." And you see Luffy throughout, he has confidence in his crewmates. Like, when Sanji disappeared in Thriller Bark, he's like, he's fine. Like, it's Sanji.
Right.
He'll find a way back to us. So to see him genuinely like panicking, being like, I'm gonna lose Zoro right in front of my eyes, and again the relief with Rayleigh, but then it just all crumbles. And this bodyguard of Dr. Vegapunk who came out of nowhere, I'm like, who's this a-hole? Like, it's just one after another after another. I was so mad. I was so mad when it was when Kizaru showed up. I was so upset, and he's so overpowered. So overpowered.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, just like I read that, and then I read most of Amazon Lily. I had to go pick up my daughter from school. That car ride was silent. It was silent. I was sitting there like,
Yeah.
what? I gotta process this, And an interesting bit, if I can sneak it in really quick, too.
Yeah.
The another level to this too, with the power difference, is we see it introduced a lot more heavily, and it didn't quite click for me that that's what this was. Hockey. The We saw it with Shanks, and I thought that it was like part of his devil fruit power, but then Rayleigh does it, and he wipes out the whole auction house with it. And then then we're seeing the Dr. Vegapunk's assistant, where he's hurting Luffy, and everyone's like, how are these attacks hurting Luffy? I was so confused. It was not clicking. And then we get to Amazon Lily, and it becomes so crystal clear, and it's like, okay, he's missing a vital part of this. But I think it just goes to show too, like, how much they truly didn't know, and how arrogant Luffy especially was.
Yep.
To assume that just because he's made of rubber, like, it doesn't mean jack. When you're up against this level, there's power on multiple levels, that he has no idea about, and it can be used against him. I mean, being made of rubber is worth nothing if you can take physical attacks anyway. I mean, that's everyone was like, dude, seriously? Like, Luffy being made of rubber and not being able to be attacked is like the one platinum card that we have, and people are just wailing on him right now. So I love that was made clear. I think a lot of people in my comments were like, it's hockey, because I was confused on what Rayleigh. I was like, oh, maybe that's his devil fruit power or something, and they were like, who else did that at one point in the manga? Because for them it's obvious. So I had to sit and think, and I was like, oh,
Thanks. Yeah.
Shanks making people. I was like, I just thought he was like that intimidating or something. People couldn't.
Yeah.
I did that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, the last time we saw him, he was, he gave his arm and his hat to Luffy and was smiling and non-confrontational, and now he's got scars across his eye, and people are passing out, and crazy. He's carrying a giant-sized bottle of alcohol for Whitebeard.
That's such a good point. That literally was when we saw him at the beginning, he's just a carefree, happy-go-lucky guy, So yeah, that I could see from your perspective.
I was
shifts
like,
in that. Yeah.
What happened here? Like, what, in the time that it took Luffy to grow up, what, there's so much. I mean, we find out all this major stuff about Roger. Finally, we get kind of a window into a little more of his story. There was but then there's this incoming threat of Blackbeard. Way back, he's the reason why Ace was captured. We saw that fight, and how intense that moment was, and it really was disturbing for me seeing that conversation between Shanks and Whitebeard, and Shanks begging Whitebeard to call Ace's hunt for him off.
Right.
It's such a bad, like, gut feeling. And then at the end of that battle between Ace and Blackbeard, it says, this duel shapes the rest of what is going to happen going forward.
Right.
And we never see the results. We never see the ending of that. But then obviously at the end of Thriller Bark, we find out that Ace is captured. But, just, I don't know. It's so many intricate, layered things. And then, we get to the archipelago and it hits here. And then even in Amazon Lily, now Luffy is without a crew, and him having to choose between finding his crew and trying to rescue his brother. And and you see the paper just it's gone. It's really, really upsetting. And if one of my comment, I said that I was a Garp fan. I thought that he was a cool character, and one of the comments was like, "Oh, you're a fan of him," and I'm like, that better not mean anything. But then I see the scene where he goes and he sees Ace, and I don't know. I haven't seen any more of that conversation, but we see that Garp has gone to see him again. Another interesting character. I just find him very funny with how simple, to Luffy.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Navy's so intimidating and he's so unserious with a lot.
Right.
I find that he's kind of a nice bit of relief.
He's a huge goofball. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but then him hucking cannonballs at the end of Enies Lobby.
Yeah.
At the speed of light, and he's this old man. I'm like, oh my gosh, how was this guy in his prime? I mean, he must have been I guess he was going toe to toe with Roger. So, I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Garp he's an interesting character.
Yeah.
And, I know as you progress and you learn more about him and the dynamics of the Marines, I'm actually very curious because I know you'll have a lot of good feedback on him, but we gotta wait till we get there. So
yeah, for sure.
I did see you caught a W with your theory on the Roger lore though in Sabaody, because I think you were thinking, was it that you were saying Roger? You thought Roger had turned himself in? Is that where you were going?
Yes. Because I'm like, well, if he circled the whole world, I mean, he got all of his treasure. And, again, there was a conversation with Garp where he's like, oh, I cornered him multiple times, but, I never actually caught him. It just made me wonder. I'm like, I don't see this guy being captured and brought in, at least against his will, whether he surrendered or whatever the case. I was not expecting him to be terminally ill. That was shocking to me. I was not expecting that at all. And then seeing that Whitebeard is ill with something, I find all the illness in this story surprising. I just feel like it's not. I really enjoy it because it's real.
Right.
But yeah, so I was happy to see that I was right. Also kind of disappointed because, there's so much mystery about it. I'm like, who was he? And then, for Shanks to say that Luffy is saying the same things, I'm like, oh my gosh, so many puzzle pieces here.
That actually is my segue to the last thing I want to talk to you about. Your theories, but before we get into any theories that you might have, top 3 mysteries right now in One Piece, things that you don't have answers to, that you wish you could get answers to. What would you say, like the top 3 are this that I want to know right now?
Okay. What happened during the 100-year gap? I am so with Robin. I want to know so bad. I want to know. It's killing me. The fact that it was right there. I love and respect her for not going with it, wanting to find out on her own. But man, I'm like, oh, I want to find out. And then where devil fruits come from. I want to know more about the devil fruits. I think that that's the reader in me. It's such a fundamental part of the story, but I'm like, do they pop up? Are they like on trees? Do they grow on the ground? How did they originate? I'd love to
Mhm.
find out more about them. I don't know if there's an arc with them, but I'd love to get some more lore on the devil fruits.
Okay.
So, okay, 100-year gap, devil fruit. I feel like there was one more big one. I mean, obviously the One Piece, but I feel like I can't say that because that's, that's the story. We're gonna
Yeah,
find
yeah,
that
yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, gosh, I would probably say probably I want to know about these. Um, oh, I want to know about Shanks. I want to know about
Mm.
what's his goal in this. Are we gonna see him at the execution with what? Is he gonna ally with Whitebeard? How did he? What does he see with Luffy? What are his plans for Luffy? I feel like there's a lot of hidden an agenda, if you will, with Shanks regarding Luffy, not necessarily in a bad way, but he's such a mysterious character. I mean, he was such a big part in Romance Dawn at the very beginning, and
Yes.
he's just shrouded in mystery. We find out he's one of the four emperors, which are very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I want to know what his plans are for Luffy. If is he secretly a I don't know. I don't know. Ever since I saw him in Romance Dawn, I'm like, I'm waiting for the reunion, and then you guys are like, so are we. I'm like, great, all right. I guess I'm locked in. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I want to know. I want
Okay.
to know more. I want to see a reunion if there will be one. I feel like
Mm.
that's I don't know. That's where the story started was with
Mm-hmm.
Luffy and Shanks. I really I'm like, what are you doing? Where did you go? When did you become scary?
I like it. So okay,
Yeah.
so we got the Void Century, we've got where Devil Fruits came from, and we got Shanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other ones that jump out at you, or are those like the heavy hitter ones that you got?
I mean, lore too surrounding Ace and Luffy. I
Okay.
which I feel like is coming. I feel like that's very enshrouded in mystery. And also I would say too, if I had to add, um, stuff with Skypeia. People did say as well that Enel's cover stories kind of links or opens up some possibilities. So I'm very curious to
Mm,
see if
mm,
Oda brings that back and is able to connect it. Again, I'm a Skypiea super fan, so if we can
mm-hmm,
get any linkage back to that and the civilization, I would love to know more about that.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, and then obviously more with um, you know, with Roger, but I feel like that will come,
Yeah.
he's an integral part of the story. But yeah, I'm trying to just write it as it comes and see what happens. I'm very curious about the rest of the warlords. There was a panel right at the end of the Amazon Lily arc where we see most of the warlords together, and I feel like that's the
Yes.
first time we've seen it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm able to count them all now and name them. I have met or at least
Mm-hmm.
seen all of them now. um,
Right.
so I'm like,
Okay.
okay, are any of them good? Are any of them kind of two timing, as we again we kind of see with Boa.
Mm-hmm.
it, there's more to these characters. How did Kuma become a robot? Is he a cyborg? I mean, I know he's a cyborg, but I'm just there's Mihawk. We haven't seen him.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
He had a
Yeah.
conversation, I believe, with Shanks.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. Early on. Yes.
yeah, but
Yeah.
other than that, it was that, and then it was Bradier, where he let
Yep.
Zoro live. So I'd love to see that come back as well. And again, what's going through his mind? I feel like all of these characters just have their own plans. their own. I'm just, how are they connected?
Yeah.
I don't know. And even with the introduction of the celestial dragons,
Mm-hmm.
it just feels very much like, I mean, the Navy lives and breathes to serve them, but
Right.
they don't necessarily seem happy to do it. So I
Right.
just wonder who in that is open to overthrowing that, whether for good or for bad, for selfish reasons or selfless reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, I had some pretty intense judgment on Boa, and I feel terrible. I was like, oh my gosh.
Really? I'm actually curious. What was your thoughts about Boa, just up front?
I didn't like her. I thought she was so mean. Well, and she kicked the kitten at
That's
the
what I'm about to
beginning.
say.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't kick a kitten. Like, I totally thought, that there was like, oh, they beat the Gorgons. I'm like, oh, they probably are the Gorgons. Like, I thought that
Mm,
they had like eaten a devil fruit that allowed them to disguise themselves or something, and that they were
mm-hmm.
going to be like the big bad, so Luffy would defeat them, and the nice women who helped him, like, they would end up taking over. I
Yeah.
thought that's what was going to happen. I was not expecting the absolutely disgusting, guttural, vomit inducing story that I received instead. But once I read it, I'm like, Charity, you know better. If a woman
Mm-hmm.
is that closed off and anti men, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, I mean, again, just the implications of just how depraved and disgusting these celestial dragons are.
Yep.
In case you didn't get the big enough dose of it, you know, just a few
Mm-hmm.
chapters ago, it's, there's another huge thing of it there, and literally seeing them just reduced to tears. But being able to open up to Luffy and trust him, I thought was very, very sweet, and it speaks to Luffy's character. But I was very like, girl, don't be so mean. Like,
Right.
I don't like when characters are overly mean, even if they do have trauma, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, just, but I mean, I'm like a chronic people pleaser, so I'm like the opposite. But I really, really adore her, and I feels wrong to call her like a villain because it was like 10 chapters, but
Mm-hmm.
she was technically, and she's still a warlord of the sea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, she might give L a run for his money there, because I love her character design. It's really, really cool. She's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, turning people to stone. That's pretty OP. I mean, she wiped out that
Yes.
whole Navy ship in a
Exactly.
in a blink. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that the guy had to stab his hand
Yeah, my
to
manga,
heal
yeah.
from that, I'm like,
Yep.
all right, well, I mean, the dude's resolve is crazy. I have to give him props, but it's a really crazy power.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, again, I'm still in shock, because I'm like, okay, we met a warlord of the sea, and now we're friends, kind of, and allies, and it's been 10 chapters. We lost the crew. I mean, it's so much information in such a very short amount of time.
That's true. That's
Because, I mean,
true.
what, um, I mean, the last arc, I think, is only about 10, 15 chapters
Mm-hmm.
comparatively to like Enies Lobby and Water 7, which are
Right.
chunkier arcs. But again,
Right.
the amount of information right now is crazy. But we're getting ready. Well, maybe we were getting ready to go to the New World, and now we don't have a ship or a crew or a coding. We're
Yeah.
bad. I'm like, all right, we're back to, so some of the crew members are like in the East Blue. I'm like, we're not even in the Grand Line anymore. I don't I don't know how we're gonna make this work. I'm like, we gotta find a devil fruit user that can teleport. That's the only answer. It's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah, that's
crazy.
true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, either a teleport person, or it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
take a long time to track them down. So
I
Ugh.
can't wait till you get to that point so I can't say that.
No,
I just gotta nod
I
my
know.
head and
My
smile.
comments are the same way. They're like, please keep reading. This is
Yeah.
torture. You know, you're so close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know. I'll reward you by finishing Amazon Lily in one go, and
Yeah.
then we're going after Ace now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying, I think, to do bigger chunks just through these next couple arcs instead of
Yeah.
my regular check-ins because everyone is like, just stop reading your comments. Like it's they say it's so spoiler heavy. So that's how I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
Like, just finish this section, however long it is, and then once I'm in the clear, I can go back to being more casual. Because
Yeah. I
I
would
don't want to know
say
anything. I do, but I don't. I don't want to know anything. You know,
I would
until
say
it.
the part that you're on right now is dangerous waters for spoilers.
Ooh,
I'm just letting you know you just be careful. That's all I can say. Just be careful because you're getting to the area where I got spoiled. And
no,
I got a huge spoiler,
no.
so
Oh, that's such a
yeah,
bummer.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So and people just be careful in your comment section. I'm telling you.
Well, I really, again, the trusted few that I know won't, I look
Mhm,
for their names and then I read those.
mhm,
Otherwise, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't want you to think I'm
mhm,
not interacting. I just want to consume the
mhm.
story, as authentically as possible. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I might kind of go back. And again, these were shorter. I have no idea. I guess the next one is Marineford, which makes me want to puke because that was way back when I first started. They're like, oh, wait till she gets to Marineford. So I'm like, great.
Mm,
So I'll have to see the chapter length,
mhm.
how long Marineford is. Maybe get through that one. I'll have to see, but I know I'm close to whatever it is. So
I'm not even not gonna say anything.
I
But
appreciate it. I
you're
know.
getting close.
Yeah, we're chugging along.
My absolute last thing. Do you have any theories that you have moving forward on the show
Mm.
that you've got in your head?
I I think that I still feel like Luffy and Roger are related in some way. I was maybe
Mm,
thinking I feel like it would have been revealed. So I feel like this is wrong, but I'm like, "Oh, what if I thought that Roger was Luffy's grandfather and I was wrong. It's Garp, but I'm like maybe Garp and Roger were brothers and like
mm.
Roger is Luffy's uncle. I'm still determined to believe they're related somehow.
Okay.
So, I feel like that's a theory. And then I this is an interest I have not breathed a word of this. This is just it's been in the back of my mind.
Oh, okay.
We saw this at the beginning of or in Jaya when that dark cloud came in and you see these like giant figures in the like shadows.
Hmm.
Um and I was so confused on what they were, but then we see them again. We just saw them recently. I forget exactly the moment of where it was, but just saw them again recently. I think it was maybe during when they were talking to Rayleigh,
Hmm.
maybe. So I'm like, maybe they're I don't know if they're maybe connected to the 100-year gap, if somehow they are because if you they say that the 100-year gap, it was a civilization that had a bigger enemy that they wanted to warn the future about. So I don't know if they're connected to that. It's such a mysterious thing that no one's even really acknowledged.
Mm.
But the fact that it was brought up again recently, part of me wonders if somehow whether it's like a ghost or a remnant of them that they were able to keep, but I don't
Hmm.
know why they would appear where they have. It's been so minor that I feel like it's not. It's baseless, but
I'll tell
maybe.
you, don't count out anything that you think is minor, because
Yeah,
anything
I'm
minor,
learning.
yeah. So
I'm
don't,
learning.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then okay, and then I will say, here is my prediction
Mm,
for how this next arc is gonna go.
okay.
I think I think that Luffy is um I think he's gonna get to Ace, and ideally, right? I think that Ace is gonna he'll manage to escape with Ace, but I think that Whitebeard is going to die. I think that he'll have a moment where he dies instead of Ace.
Mm,
Um and obviously because it seems like Ace and Whitebeard kind of have the connection that Shanks and Luffy do, which I think
mhm,
is very interesting. And then I don't know. I feel like it sounds I don't think that any of the crew members wouldn't make it, but I don't know. I like the fact that Robin is on like the island that she is, where it's, they're like the workers, they're enslaved,
mhm,
they're prisoners or whatever. So I don't
mhm.
know. I don't know. I feel like it's something dark is coming, but I'm a psycho, so I think that Luffy's gonna pull it off. I I don't know. There's yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen. I feel like Whitebeard is gonna die, but then and that's gonna spell even worse news because it's one of the emperors down. So
Mm,
and that'll, it'll disrupt the balance in the new world and it'll give the Navy kind of a shoe in. So that's what I think. And then it's gonna, that'll spell more trouble, obviously, for the crew whenever they manage to get to the new world, is that will still be in chaos. So
yeah.
I hope I'm right. We'll
Whoo.
see. But yeah, I
Okay.
think I think those are most of my oh, and then so there's the Will of D thing, and I have no idea what that means either, but we know there's Roger, there's Luffy,
Mm-hmm.
there's Ace, there's Blackbeard. So I'm like, is
Mm-hmm.
Blackbeard related to them too? Is he like a and then there's Dragon? There's so many. I can't. That's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other thing. I forgot about Dragon. Oh gosh. Maybe Dragon will show up in Marineford and oh
Mm.
I don't know, maybe Dragon will die and then Luffy will have to like take up the flag of the revolution. But my comments were very firm with me and they were like the revolutionaries are not pirates. They're two separate things. So
That's
I'm like,
true. That's
well,
true.
I couldn't really take that up if he's determined to be a pirate. So
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but I Luffy he doesn't I don't know. I mean, maybe he no, he because he didn't even know who his dad was.
Right.
So
Right. They never met. Yeah.
maybe we'll find out who his mom was. I don't know.
Mm. Okay.
But yeah, I'm trying to just go with the flow mostly because Oda is whack and he does things his own way.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
writes what he wants to. He doesn't care about the damage or the shock or the weirdness. So I'm trusting
Mm-hmm.
the process, even though he's killing me right now. it's it's rough, and I've still got Marineford to go. So
Hey,
we'll see.
man.
But yeah, I'm like, all right, maybe Blackbeard's related.
Yeah.
Luffy and Ace are gonna be pirate ship brothers, and
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, weird giant darkness figures. Maybe that'll be they're connected. So we'll have to see. I've still got what 700 more chapters to go till I'm caught up.
Yeah, because the last chapter, the one that releases this Sunday, is 1173.
Golly, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm on 528.
Okay. So yeah, about 646. No,
Yeah. Yeah,
640.
yeah, it might be. I mean, it might be. It'll probably be close to 700 by the time I'm caught up.
Well, no, you might be okay because Oda, he typically drops about 30 to 40 chapters a year. So
Okay.
yeah.
He does
So
take time.
I'll say at this pace, you'll be caught up this year for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a priority, mainly because I'm like, I need to get it in gear before I get spoiled for anything. I wanna get caught up,
Yeah.
not rush through it, but,
Yeah, no, I
you
got
know,
you. Yeah.
I'm like, it'd be nice to just fully know everything along with everybody else, so I'm not constantly on my toes
I'll say
watching everything.
the biggest thing I'll say is just at least the next 100 chapters. This is the murkiest, unsafe waters you're gonna be in this entire series for spoilers. So I'm just ready for you to get past that because after
Okay,
that, you will you'll at least be safe from any major accidental spoilers for a
okay,
while.
alright. Well,
But
that's
this
a
is that.
relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that I can deal with. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, "Alright, I'm gonna chug through.
Hmm.
I'll give my thoughts as I go, but just let me at least get through the I feel like the what are we at? Like, the big 4 that I've
Yeah.
been going through, but I feel like it started in Water 7, and it's just been people have just been like, "Just be
Mhm.
careful, don't get spoiled." So,
Yeah.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see, but I'm excited. I'm loving it. It's been so much fun. Well, I mean, I say it's fun as I run out of
I know what you mean. It's been
yeah,
fun and sad and
yeah,
entertaining,
yeah.
inquisitive.
Just
Yeah.
bonded as a novel book reader. I genuinely feel so invested and attached, and it's exactly what I want when I'm reading or consuming any kind of story.
Mhm.
It's been an amazing time. I love these characters. I feel like I'm personally friends with them. Man, it's rough.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been great. This has been great, Cheddars. I mean, we went even longer. I was able to ask you a lot more questions this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So I think
Absolutely.
I
Loved it.
think this is good. And I know you're on YouTube now too. So
Yeah.
let people know where to find you on socials and YouTube, all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I'm Cheddar's Books on everything. TikTok,
Mhm.
Instagram, YouTube. My YouTube people, I love you. I'm sorry. I'm so erratic with when I upload and post, but I promise I'm working on stuff. But yeah, let me know anywhere. If I don't, I'm usually very interactive with my comments. I have not been, as we've discussed. So,
Mhm.
but yes, as I get on later, I love to discuss stuff. So I hope to see you in my comments at some point.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. Well, this has been part 2, and there definitely will have to be a part 3 as she gets further in the series. I'm looking forward to that. But Cheddars, like I said, I appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.